being taken care well. Now, sir, got it? Kar dein? Sir? JJ. Today we explore the role of government and policy, socio-economic determinants of health, disease prevention, and health promotion, environmental health and sustainability, as well as catalysts and barriers to strengthening public health in the communities. Public health is a critical component of any thriving society. It ensures that the individual have access to the resources and information they need to maintain their well-being and prevent the spread of diseases. However, despite its importance, public health is often overlooked or underfunded. Our goal today is to highlight the significance of public health and inspire action towards improving it in our communities. The importance of public health. Public health is a critical component of any thriving community. It encompasses everything from disease prevention to environmental health, and its impacts every aspects of our lives. When we invest in public health, we are investing in the well-being of our communities. We are ensuring that everyone has the access to the resources they need to live healthy, fulfilling lives, and we are creating a foundation for future generation to build up upon. The role of government and policies. Government policies play a crucial role in shaping the public health outcomes. Public health policies are designed to promote the health of communities and prevent disease, injuries, and disabilities. One example of a successful public health policy is the implementation of smoke-free laws in public spaces. We have a statutory warning, don't we have?
I request the audience to please maintain silence.
We have a statutory warning, don't we see? Smoking kills. हाँ या ना? Obviously. और अल्कोहल पे होती है स्टैच्यूटरी वार्निंग? नहीं होती? और कहाँ होती है स्टैच्यूटरी वार्निंग्स? Tobacco kills. Chewing of tobacco. कितना percentage है? How many people consume tobacco in India? 90%. We are the topmost. Second in smoking. 90%. And uski baad bhi 20% cases of cancer are because of tobacco chewing. Too much. And still we don't know much about public health. We know about reels, don't we? We know about brands, obviously, Bollywood, but we don't know about public health. Even how many people have noticed about the statutory warnings? Have you noticed? Many people, we are educated people for sure, but after smoking or after consuming alcohol, you know, alcohol is not good for health, smoking is not good for it. Kya hota hai ek baar, do baar, teen baar, and then we become chain smokers and chain alcohol consumptions. So public health is something we believe in drinking protein shakes, but we don't believe in quitting alcohol. We don't believe in quitting smoking. Kindly go through. Public health is something that we have ignored from past so many years. We all are educated. We should concern. These laws have been shown to reduce exposure to secondhand smoke and improve respiratory health. However, the effectiveness of public health policies can be limited by factors such as political opposition, lack of funding, and resistance from industry groups because they have a profit attached. Now, socioeconomic determinants of health. Socioeconomic determinants of health refers to the social and economic condition that contributes to an individual overall health status. You are all sociology students, so I will just give you one advice. Just go through this theory of Clifford Shaw and Henry Mackay, the theory of Chicago School. Now, what this theory of Chicago School usually says, in explaining the social disorganization theory, a correlation between the condition of poverty, health, care system, and high rate of crimes coexistence. So you have poverty, you have degraded healthcare systems, and there's an increased rate of crime, criminal activities around the neighborhood. They have a correlation, the economic correlation, the societal correlation. For you as a sociologist, upcoming sociologist, it's very important to understand this theory of Chicago School. Research has shown that individuals with lower socioeconomic status are more likely to experience poor health outcomes, including higher rate of chronic diseases, mental health issues, and mortality. This is due to a variety of reasons, including limited access to healthcare services, exposure to environmental hazards, and increased level of stress. Community health nursing. So it's a cycle. I will not explain much about this. I will just give you a brief idea. You have preventive cares, you have nurses, you have healthcare, you have hospitals, you have medicines, you have vaccines on a very subsidized rate, but the quality is very good. Managing acute and chronic conditions, community lives in the same area, share values or characteristics. Means you have a healthcare system, you have a dispensary, you have a hospital, but do you have a societal interaction to get you there? It's very important, because as far as the society is concerned, if we don't have interactions, if we don't have a conversation, if we don't have as individual as a catalyst to push other individuals to go there, get the vaccine, get the medicines, then what's the point of having a healthcare system? It is just like एक अच्छा सा एक दीवार है, hospital है white color की, धीरे धीरे it will deteriorate because nobody will come. What about the stigma? बहुत साल पहले तक we were not polio free 100%. The stigma was that why to give the medicine to the kids? The medicines can be poison, the drops can be poison. There are many areas apart from India. India is 100% polio free, but what about the other countries, the Asian countries? There is still a stigma. Even if the polio drops are given in free, they harass the nurses. They harass the public healthcare system. And who will finally face the repercussions? Tell me, is the individual or the society as a whole? Society as a whole, because jitne polio ke patients honge, utna crippled honge. And how will they contribute to the progress of the nation? इसके लिए चाहे बॉलीवुड सेलिब्रिटी लाना पड़े, चाहे एनजीओ लाना पड़े, चाहे कुछ भी लाना पड़े. Now, public health, home health, and primary care nursing, they all work together. They form a channel. They form a very progressive structure to help and build a proper healthcare system. Environmental health and sustainability. We have discussed about the humans. Now comes the environment. Environmental health refers to the branch of public health that focuses on how the environment affects human health. It encompasses a wide range of factors, including air and water quality, hazardous waste management, and food safety. Sustainability is also an important aspect of environmental health, as it involves ensuring that our action today do not compromise the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. This requires us to balance economic, social, and environmental consideration in our decision-making process. Now, as far as this thing is concerned, this is very theoretical. As the practical aspect is concerned, there was a case study regarding why environment is so important, why the sustainability of the environment is so important. There was a group of parents, they were invited, fine, by a NGO. उनके सामने white papers थे, बहुत सारे colors थे, बहुत सुंदर सुंदर colors थे. एक कंडीशन ये थी कि जो भी आप कलर यूज करोगे, then you have to throw it. गार्बेज में थ्रो करना है. उन्होंने सारे अच्छे कलर्स लिए, ब्लू लिया, येलो लिया, ग्रीन लिया, all the good colors, purple लिया, violet लिया, जो कलर्स लेना था किया, and they drew a very good scenery, they drew a very good जो भी उनको बनाना था. उसके बाद then second round में उनके बच्चों को बुलाया गया. उनके बच्चों को ये बोला गया, अब जो भी कलर्स अवेलेबल है, you have to draw. पता है आपको कौन से कलर्स अवेलेबल थे? Any idea? Any idea? All the good colors went to the garbage. All the greenery went to the garbage. Blue means the water went to the garbage. Consumed. Black, brown, gray. What kind of scenery they will draw? Because they don't have an option left. Is it having any resemblance to our practical situation as a generation? We have all the blues, we have all the greens. We are using them, we are consuming them without considering that we have a generation behind who are waiting. And what we will leave them? All black, pollution, and garbage. Yes, garbage, air pollution, water pollution. So what is the basic message behind it. Yes, I'm just completing there. Thank you. What is the message behind it? Just for the sake of sustainability, just for the name of sustainability, we cannot be sustainable. We have to work for the generations. We have to consider them. If we use all the colors, if we consume all the greenery, the nature, then सिर्फ रेगिस्तान रह जाने वाला है हमारी आगे की generations के लिए. So I believe we should focus on our healthcare. We should focus on our environmental care system because दोनों ही साथ में parallel चलते हैं, काम करते हैं. आपकी health अच्छी है तो आपका environment अच्छा नहीं है, that will affect you. That affects your energy. That affects you, make you more negative. क्लीन रहिए, आसपास क्लीन रहिए, कोशिश करिए लिटर ना करें, लिटर करते हैं तो प्रॉपर्ली उसको डिस्पोज करिए. दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. छोटे छोटे इनिशिएटिव्स प्रैक्टिकली मैं बोल रही हूँ, इट इज नॉट फॉर द प्रेजेंटेशन स्टफ. कहीं ना कहीं वी हैव टू इनिशिएट, वी हैव टू वर्क. छोटे छोटे काम करते करते कब बड़े काम हो जाते हैं हमें पता ही नहीं चलता. जब भी आप कुछ फेंक रहे हो, जब भी आप कुछ खाना इतना बचता है उसको फेंक रहे हो, तो एक बार सोचना कि ये आने वाली जनरेशन के लिए बचेगा भी या नहीं बचेगा. So thank you everyone. I hope मैंने कुछ ना कुछ आपको कुछ बताया होगा. मैं ज़्यादा theoretical जाना नहीं चाहते because everything what I have concluded इतना conversation में. Thank you so much once again for listening me. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your presentation. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Suraj Das, Assistant Professor, Amity Institute of Social Sciences. He'll be presenting on the topic Climate Change and Struggle for Food Security, Upholding a Fundamental Human Right.
स्टॉप कर दीजिए. ठीक है, आपका भी कोई पीपीटी? हाँ जी, मैं करूँगा.
Thank you so much. आपने ऐसे ही मेंशन कर दिया. जा रही हूँ सच में.
इसकी द्विवेदी कॉपी क्या है?
ऐसे नहीं, शेयर कर दीजिए तब जाएगी उस पर. Hello, good evening one and all. To the session chair, Dr. Durgesh Tripathi, and the co-chair, Dr. Binoy Jyoti Das, moderator, Suyashai sir. Good evening to all. My name is Dr. Suraj Das. Currently, I'm working as an assistant professor at the Amity University itself. So our previous speaker has already talked a lot about the sustainability issue, right? So in this presentation, I will be sharing my primary fieldwork that I have conducted in the Western Himalayan region, and to be precise, in the Uttarakhand, right? So why the need of community's perspective arises? See, we have ample number of examples that shows the community's perspective does matter. For example, talking about the green revolution, right? Even though green revolution has been able to ensure the food security, but at the cost of what? At the cost of sustainability, right? At the cost of what? The soil degradation. So there are n number of issues that are associated with the climate change, but due to the neglect or the, what do you call, lack of integration of communities perspective, the policy becomes, to some extent there is a policy paralysis for some time. We have another example that shows why the community's perspective matters. We have another example of Ganga river basin. Government of India has already spent a lot, or we can say in crores, to control flood, but has they been able to control the same? The answer is big no. Why? Because somewhere down the line, it is the community's perspective which is lacking there, right? So to complete all the, to fulfill the gap, I have conducted this study, which is titled as the Climate Change and Food Security in the Himalayas, a Community's Perspective. And before proceeding further, these are the contents for today's presentation, which consists of introduction part, then we'll talk about the research gaps and objectives, then we'll move on to theoretical perspective, which I have used for today's presentation. Then we'll discuss the methodology, finding, and last but not the least, the conclusion part. So as we'll all know, why, see, the climate change has spared no one, but who are among the most vulnerable communities? It's mostly the people who are residing near the coastal areas and the mountain region. In that case, and besides that, approximately 70% of the people in the Himalayan region are still dependent on the agriculture, that too on subsistence agriculture farming, where they integrate the traditional ways and means of practice, traditional ways and means of what? Farming, right? But at the time of policy formation, their perspective gets neglected, and which results into policy paralysis for some time, right? So taking the argument forward, these are the research gaps. So compared to the quantitative study that has particularly been conducted from the socio-economic perspective, the qualitative perspective is missing, right? And to fill the gap, we have done this study, and we have an ample number of studies that shows the impact of climate change on the traditional food choices. But the question is how it has affected the food sovereignty, how it has affected the traditional communities, the ways and means of adaptation, right? This is the question that needs to be answered. And for that, this is the objective, which is to analyze the local meaning of climate change from local communities' perspective and to investigate how local food choices can contribute to achieving a nutritional security. So talking about the theoretical framework, I have used sociological imagination as a theoretical framework. The reason being, because it will allow us to connect the history with the biography and the personal trouble with the public issue. And this is the methodology which I have used for this study. Talking about the research design, I have conducted the cross-section study. To be precise, it was conducted in 2021 from July, I guess, March to July 2021, right? And instrument of data collection, I have used the survey, which consists of structured and the semi-structured questionnaire. And talking about the sampling approach, I have used the multi-stage sampling approach. In first stage, I have shortlisted 5 districts, that was a purposive in nature, which I have selected based on the IMD, that is the Indian Meteorological Department's data, or the IMD's most vulnerable district in the Himalayan region. Then in the second stage, I have selected 2 blocks from each district and 1 village from each blocks. So in total, I have conducted my studies in 10 villages of Uttarakhand, and I have interviewed only those people who were above the age of 18 years. The reason being, because the climate change, the phenomena of climate change has started taking place in recent 2 decades at rapid pace. And this is the data analysis. I have used the mixed methodology for the data analysis. Firstly, I have done the factor analysis, which is a factor reduction technique, which help you to find the latent or the hidden factors which is available in the Likert scale. I forgot to mention, I have used the Likert scale, which measure the degree of agreement or disagreement towards a particular statement, right? And through that, I have measured the level of agreement towards the statement that I have used for the survey. And then I have conducted to further substantiate the argument, to further substantiate the result, I have conducted a thematic analysis, and for that I have used the in vivo version 10. Right, for the factor analysis, I have used the SPSS version 24, and for thematic analysis, I have used the in vivo version 10. And this is the outcome which is based on the factor analysis, where I have used. So before proceeding further, I have also checked the what you call the Cronbach alpha, which checks the degree of reliability, and it was significant. And then to conclude here, after thematic analysis, the content analysis which I have used, I have found there are local foods, they are traditional food, which actually help them to survive even in worst times, even in worst cases. Even they are also essential because they have the what you call, they have the contextual meaning, right? It can be survived even in the climate induced emergency, and that can be grown even in a drought like situation. So we have a few examples like mandua, which is a finger millet, the kodo, the ragi, and the koni, which are basically a staple diet of Uttarakhand, but due to certain region like the change in the climate pattern and the change in the choice of youth, they are not following the same, right? Therefore, I conclude here the need of integration of local communities perspective arises for sustainable, holistic, and the integrated policy making. So, and hence a shift from top down approach to a bottom participatory approach, along with a policy framework incorporating both scientific and indigenous knowledge, is essential for successful climate change policies and strategies. This is it. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a wonderful paper. Thank you, Suraj.
Any questions?
I think we can take up questions later.
All right.
We have 6 more presentation online.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Suraj, for your interesting presentation. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Ketaki Dwivedi. Whose topic is Promise, Performance, and Sustainability Question: 2 decades of GM seeds in India. So, I think Dr. Ketaki Dwivedi will be presenting online. Dr. Ketaki.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, you're audible, Ketki.
Yes. Good afternoon. As you can see, the topic of my presentation is little complex, but I'll try to make it more simplistic. Reason being that we have a very limited time period. So let's start with it. As we all might remember, the introduction of BT cotton to India.
Dr. Ketki, just one
Yes,
minute. Can you please share your presentation? It's not
Yeah.
visible on our screen.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, Doctor.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible.
Yes. I think so. I may not be able to present my PPT. Reason being, the network is really bad here. So I may get disconnected after presenting it.
Okay.
So if possible, can we have it from your end, sir? My presentation?
Please mail it to us. audi@met.edu.
Can I WhatsApp to Gaur, sir, here?
No, please send it to audi@met.edu. audi@met.edu. Yes, this is the mail ID. अच्छा अच्छा ये दिखाई नहीं दे रही होगी.
No, sir.
AUDI@met.edu.
I'll try.
All the online participants can also mail their PPT to this mail ID.
Audience Amity.
AUDI@met.edu. AMITY.edu.
Yeah. Shared, sir.
Okay, let me check. Refresh मार दूं?
हाँ यहाँ खड़ा हूँ ना.
I hope you received it, sir.
Yes, we have received.
Yes. Yeah.
Now your
Should I
PPT is-
start?
Now your PPT is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is.
If you want to change the slide, please tell. Okay, we'll change it here.
Yes. Change to slide 2, sir.
Okay, okay. Whenever she'll tell to change the slide, just change
Yeah.
it. Okay?
Yeah. So, as we all may have some idea regarding GM crops and their introduction in India around 1995 to 1996, it was accompanied by a widespread media coverage and much hype around the campaign that hailed the BT crop as first step towards a new agricultural revolution, that is gene revolution. And it was touted as a harbinger of second green revolution. And we saw how BT cotton seeds quickly captured the Indian cotton market between 2002 to 2017. The assessment of GMO technologies, however, ranged from utopian to catastrophic. A large section of the literature echoed the promise of
हो चुका. अभी रखो, मांगा जाएगा.
and other GM companies, and a viable solution to climate change, growing population, food
No sounds coming, right?
Dr. Ketaki, I think you have some network issue. No sounds is coming here.
Okay.
Now you are audible. Ketaki, you can proceed. And please try to conclude
Okay,
in the next 2-3 minutes.
Sure, sir, sure. So flavor saver tomatoes for delayed ripening, golden rice for enhanced vitamin A, etc. But skeptics have other ideas about it. They resisted it on several um, grounds like economic, political, environmental hazards, etc. So the monikers like Frankenfood, Monster Food, potent source of biopollution, all that came into the whole discourse around GM crops. And we recently also heard about the Terminator controversy. And all this discourse started making rounds around, uh, coincidentally, the time period that is 1998, which coincided with the open air field trials of BT cotton in India. So the whole discourse needs to put into perspective, and to put it into perspective, we have to analyze various contradictory claims and rhetorics made by the stakeholders. So with the above aim, I present this paper to understand the position and perception of small farmers and peasants who are engaged at the ground level in the cultivation of BT cotton in districts of Punjab. The study tries to comprehend this contentious subject through their everyday life. So I'll be trying to the next slide, please.
Dr. Ketki, please
Yes.
conclude. Please conclude. We don't have time. We have 5 presentations and
So
Well,
the,
thank you.
yeah, the above themes like GM crops and their attitude towards so productivity, profitability, and pest resistance. These were the first theme that I
Thank you.
Doctor, thank you, Dr. Ketaki Dwivedi. I think the next participant is Dr. Prakash Ranjan Prasad. His topic is G20 Sustainable Tourism, Goa's roadmap towards achieving the SDGs. Dr. Prakash Ranjan Prasad. Dr. Prakash Ranjan Prasad, I think is not there. Next one is Dr. Gurinder Kaur. Dr. Gurinder Kaur, Mr. Sheikh Iftar Ahmed. The topic is social contextualization of maternal mortality, a study of 2 districts of Punjab. Yes, ma'am. Dr. Gurinder Kaur, Mr. Sheikh Iftikhar Ahmed. Are you there? ये भी नहीं है मैम. Next participant is Miss Salini Gupta, Assistant Professor from Sahid Rajguru College. Her topic is influence of environmental knowledge on sustainable consumption and production pattern in India.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Good evening to all. Thank you so much for providing me this opportunity and to be a part of this conference. So shall I start my presentation?
Okay. Have you sent your PPT to us?
Yes, sir, I have already sent.
Okay. Miss Salini Gupta.
Or I can share the screen also.
You can
if-
share the screen. Please share.
Okay, fine. Fine, sir. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh,
Miss Salini, you have 6 minutes. Yeah, you can tell us about the findings and then you can conclude.
Okay, sir. Sir, actually, it is a thematic paper and it is based on sustainable consumption pattern in India and various influencing factors. It is an overview on the sustainable consumption. So the content outline is like I will be discussing about SDGs, sustainability and sustainable consumption, and what is the status and initiatives till now in India, and what are the major influencing factors for affecting the sustainable consumption, and what are the future prospects as well as the challenges and conclusion regarding this topic. So SDGs are basically the 2030 agenda, as we all know. It was adopted in 2015, and it is basically a blueprint for peace, prosperity for people and the planet. And also there are total 17 goals and 169 targets. It is an urgent call for all the countries like developed and developing nation for tackling and combating towards the various challenges which have been faces by the many other countries, like climate change and preserving our ecosystem and resources, education, health, poverty, and other diseases. So these are the 17 goals. So one of the important goal under SDG is SDG goal number 12, which aims at ensuring responsible consumption and production pattern everywhere in the world. So sustainable consumption and production refer to the use of services related to the products which respond to the basic needs and bring a better quality of life. And also it emphasizing on the minimizing and dependency on the natural resources, as well as the release of a minimum amount of toxic or other synthetic compounds, so as to lower down the pollution level in the environment. And the main targets under this goal is the reducing the global food waste and efficient use of resources, fighting pollution, waste generation, supporting companies transition in adopting the green infrastructure and green products and practices, and also making sure everyone and everywhere is fully informed of ways to live in harmony with nature, eventually adopt the sustainable habits in their lifestyle. So sustainability and consumption deals with the saving of resources, mindful utilization of the resources, and also recovery and efficiency of resources interlinked to economic development. And adoption of sustainable consumption behavior, it is the need of an hour. An individual should understand his social and ecological responsibility in every action. So basically the status in India is the average lifestyle material footprint of India, and according to 2015 statistics, is around 8,400 kilogram per capita per year. So when compared to sustainable material footprint, it is 8,000 kg per capita per year is quite acceptable. And according to UNEP 2021 report, 50 kg of food is wasted per person per year in India. So food wastage reduction can have a significant effect on greenhouse gas emission, hunger, pollution, and money saving during recession. So these are the status and scenario presently. And the population of China and India together constitute 36% of the global population, but generate only 27% of the global municipal waste. And according to CPCB, India generate 26,000 ton of plastic a day, and over 10,000 ton of a day of plastic waste remain uncollected. So basically the initiatives till now have been taken, like sustainable tourism. India is working towards the initiative is a sustainable tourism that take full account of current and future economic, social, environmental impact, addressing the need of uh, environment, need of visitors, the industries, environment, and host communities. And also the project for responsible tourism in Kumarukom, Kerala takes the help of local community by linking them to hospitality industry and sustaining eco-friendly tourism, as well as it is followed by the another state, Himachal Pradesh, introduce a homestay schemes, and which is more comfortable, natural, and budget-friendly accommodation and food. Other green economy initiatives, government schemes like Swachh Bharat Mission, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Smart Cities, and Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana. So these are the some sustainable development goals and working targets towards it. And the Indian government included the environmental education as a compulsory component in the formal curriculum in 1960s. Also, what are the influencing factors towards adoption of sustainable consumption behavior. So basically, there are the major factors like socio-cultural influences. So consumer choices are based on socio-cultural features like social status, background, cultural background on values, religion, beliefs, education, as well as the reference group, and the legal framework and infrastructure. Because of lack of the legal framework for promotion of sustainable consumption in India, along with the most countries does not have law to address sustainability on the demand and supply aspect. So which could ensure access to of consumers to good promoting sustainable consumption. And other factors like green purchasing intention, environmental knowledge, man nature orientation, long term orientation, environmental advertising, and demographic characteristic, for example income status of the family, class and sector, education level, and as well as gender. So both these factors are highly and significantly correlated with the green purchasing and consumer behavior and concern. So environmental knowledge and eco literacy. So basically people uh, with environmental knowledge and concern or attitude are in this modern era. So environmental knowledge deal with what people have familiar about the natural surrounding and perform towards environmental safety, highlights and the link between the financial system and sustainable development. So in many studies, environmental knowledge have found was found to have a direct positive impact on sustainable consumption pattern. So education has a significant influence on the consumption pattern and choices of individual. With higher the level of value-based education, it is easier to proliferate the sustainable consumption through the understanding of the environmental impact of current consumption pattern. Okay, so the prospects. Uh, so it is important. Sorry. It is important to promote sustainable consumption through environmental education, public awareness, and also campaigns sponsored by the central and state government stakeholders. In several areas, desirable limit standards for consumption need to be established through capacity building programs, incentives, strategies, and framework legislations, reassuring companies, especially large brands, transitional companies, to implement sustainable practices, to integrate sustainability information into their framework policy. So there is increasing expectations from the private sector to include environmental, social, governance dimension in their business strategies and disclosures. And also the challenges related to this consumption pattern or achieving the goal of SDG 12. India faces several challenges in achieving SDG goal 12 of sustainable consumption and production, like irreversible extraction of natural resources, recurring post-harvest or food losses, increased processing and waste streams, higher congestion in urban areas. So the concluding remarks of this presentation is sustainable consumption and production aims at accelerating the transition of the region into a minimal carbon footprint, resource efficient, circular economy involving the industries, consumers, financial institutes, and national governments. Sustainable consumption and production promote resource and energy efficiency, sustainable infrastructure, and access to green and decent jobs and a better quality of life. It is at the heart of a progress toward building a sustainable economy that works for both people and the planet in long term. So this is not meant for only for the environmental benefit, but also for the social economic profit, such as good health, well-being, and increased competitiveness, business sector, development of the global market, and increased employment as well. So this was all about this presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Shalini Gupta. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Manjula Raghav, lecturer, Institute of Law, Nirma University, Gujarat, and she will be speaking on the topic Goals for Sustainable Development in India Analyzed. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope my screen is visible to all of you.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, my voice is audible too.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, I would like to thank you, Amity University, for giving this opportunity and making me explore and collect my thoughts on this theme. And it is such a relevant theme. So whatever I could have collected, so I'll share my thoughts over the goals for sustainable development in India analyzed. As we know that United Nations adopted, yeah, as we know that United Nations adopted the Sustainable Development Goals in 2015 as a goal, as a global call to action to eradicate poverty, safeguard the environment, and provide prosperity for all by 2030. Even while there has been improvement in many areas, there are still big gaps and difficulties in accomplishing these objectives. Here are a few of SDGs' major gaps and difficulties. And through this paper, I try to analyze the goals of sustainable development in India. And further, I try to find out the discrepancies and flaws that impeded the action towards reaching the sustainability. So, with the goal to meet the demands of the present generation without compromising the capacity of future generation to meet their own needs. Sustainable development is a very relevant concept. It stands for a fair and comprehensive strategy for advancing the economy, society, and environment. So further, I would like to share what are the challenges in the process of achieving SDG. So main challenges for achieving sustainable development goals in India are poverty and inequality, environmental degradation, climate change, healthcare, and education. I would like to share my screen also. Um, yeah, main challenges for achieving sustainable development goals in India. These are that I have mentioned also: healthcare and education, water scarcity, urbanization, and gender inequality. So, I would like to also discuss the contribution by the government in the form of policy governance, how the government has also contributed. Like government policies and initiatives play a crucial role in promoting sustainable development, which is a concept that seeks to meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Sustainable development encompasses economic, social, and environmental dimensions, and the government actions are essential in achieving this balance. Here is an examination of the role of government policies and initiative in promoting sustainable development. And for this purpose, the report by Niti Aayog is very significant, which has included, the data and has talked about several policy and governance, like survey sites current government of India policies in different direction of achieving SDGs. These include Swachh Bharat Mission, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Smart Cities, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana, and Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, Namami Gange Mission, and many more are in this regard. So, finally, I would like to also tell the broader implication. What are the broader implication of SDGs? First of all, there is a global impact. India's journey towards sustainable development has global implications. As one of the world's most populous countries, its environmental and economic decisions can significantly affect global sustainability efforts. Then policy innovations, business opportunities, of course, there will be international partnerships and human well-being. So finally, if I conclude, I would like to conclude with recommendations for addressing these challenges that I have mentioned. Uh, and finally, to conclude, I can say that in conclusion, research on sustainable development in India holds significant importance due to its potential to address environmental challenges, promote economic growth, reduce inequality, and contribute to global sustainability efforts. The broader implication extend to global influence, policy innovation, business opportunities, international partnerships, and the overall well-being of humanity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Manjula Raghav.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. With this, we come to the end of the presentations. We don't have any presentations left. And I would like to open the floor
Excuse
for,
me, ma'am. Excuse me.
yes.
Good afternoon. This is Dr. Jasleen Kevlani, ma'am. We have been waiting for almost 3 hours in the previous session for 1 hour. We got the link at 3:50, and now we are not being invited for presentation. I just wanted to report you about this.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So could you please present the paper?
Yes, I would like to, but
Presentation. So Dr. Jasleen Kevlani, is it?
yes, I'm the one. We were waiting for 1 hour in the session 3, and we had sent, I think, 10 mails, and there was no response. So we
Ma'am,
were not able to contact you back in this. So we have been just entered
no
in the
problem, ma'am.
session.
No problem. We'll just start with your presentation. There was some misunderstanding, and
Yeah.
we had some technical difficulties earlier. So I would
Okay,
like
it's
to
okay.
call upon Dr. Justine Kevlani, Assistant Professor, Sociology, Rajiv Gandhi University of Law, Patiala. And she will be presenting her paper on the topic Exploring the Paradigm Shift from Equality to Dignity with special reference to women's rights related to menstrual hygiene in India and Europe, with a focus on the Sustainable Development Goals. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. And I'm really sorry for beginning with such an unhappy note. We were not there in
No
the
problem,
beginning.
ma'am.
Thank
No
you. Thank you.
problem.
I render all my regards for the chair, for the co-chair, rapporteur, and also the moderator of the session. I thank Committee University and ISS and also Indian Astrological Society for inviting me for this opportunity. I'll take up the major sociological aspect of the discussion, and rest of the things will be discussed by my co-author, Ms. Kavita. We have focused on menstrual hygiene as the basic aspect of our discussion. We are running in an era when we talk about women empowerment, these discourses like gender equality and human rights, they are on the front of all the administrative aspects and all. And when we talk about women empowerment or human rights or gender equality, we have a lot of things to discuss. We have political aspects, we have economic aspects, we have transgenders also. We are out of the binary notions of gender now. We have human rights, and the basic line of all these things start from dignity. And we have tried to relate, we have tried to understand and learn by reading the Sustainable Development Goals in detail, that how menstrual hygiene can be fitted into the realm of SDGs. When we talk about goal number 3.7, it talks about providing the basic amenities linked to reproduction health. Goal number 3.7.1, it talks about that the women aged from 15 to 49 years of age ideally should be given contemporary techniques for reproductive health and hygiene also. Then goal 4A talks about gender sensitive educational spaces. That means we talk about schools, we talk about primary level education, we talk about other basic institutions also. Goal 4.8.1 talks about single sex essential hygiene services and fundamental amenities for hand washing. So this is how directly things are being linked with the category of, with the aspect of menstrual hygiene. Goal 5.1 talks about ending all forms of bias against girls and women worldwide. Now, when we talk about these things, again, we begin from social institutions like family, then kinship, then schools, then colleges ahead. Then goal 6.2 talks about the women's right to sufficient and fair sanitation. So in the realm of sustainable development goal, we are trying to explore menstrual hygiene as a basic thing. We understand the journey of a woman's life from menarche to menstruation. When we talk about menarche, it is basically about awareness of the girls and their readiness to begin with another biological phase in their life. When we talk about menstruation, it is about access of the facilities, availability of the facilities, and equity and justice. So there was a paper we were reading while doing the work. Pritam Pradeshi is the author. It has been published in Indian Journal of Microbiology Research. This is about a sociological exploration which says that there are a lifetime developing risk of UTIs in every woman. The risk is 66%. And the lifetime developing risk of UTIs in every man, in every male, is 13% only. And then we have further understanding of complicated UTIs and uncomplicated UTIs. UTI is coming up as a very strong point of discourse of disease burden. women and children below even 6 years, below 7 years, they are having UTIs. And then we have to feel worried about what about UTI infections in case of when they begin with the menarche or menstruation. So then we further have rural and urban dichotomy, which can further relate to it. Then we have in India, we have had National Family Health Surveys 2015-16, which talks about even in a very interesting factors. This we have come to know from this particular 15-16 survey that more than 70% of mothers, they still believe that menstruation is it's dirty, it's something ugly in life. So that's how, value system of women themselves can be linked to a biological order which has to be natural or which is natural. Then role of social institutions of family, marriage. It is very important to understand how family responds to menstruation and, these things. Human rights, when we talk about human rights, when we talk about empowerment, all this initially begins from social institution of family. And when in family, within a family, when the girls are even, Professor Metri was talking about a very interesting thing in the morning about democratic rights. That is when a woman or when a man can ask an old aged person about something. So this inhibition imposed on the girls while not talking about menstruation, not asking about that, or not being guided before they enter the menarche stage is something really very serious. And this is the basic, I know we don't have much time, so I won't extend much. I would give Miss Kavita the chance to talk about the analysis she has done on India and Europe and their efforts made on menstruation hygiene. Miss Kavita, are you there? Please, we may continue.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Am I audible to everyone?
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Thank you, ma'am. So keeping the time constraint in mind, I would like to focus on the analytical part, or I could say the critical part, yet often overlooked aspect of the Sustainable Development Goals in terms of menstrual hygiene and its management. To begin with, I would like to focus on the first goal, that is to eradicate poverty in all its form. The term used in the goal, basic services, although explains the adequate facilities about housing, adequate facilities about food and nutrition, and the medical services. But what it excludes or does not explicitly encompass is the menstrual hygiene and the needs of women and girls. And I would say, for instance, in rural areas of India, the absence of accessible menstrual hygiene services can hinder the women's participation in economic activities, but perpetuating the cycle of the poverty. I Now I would like to move on the goal third, that centered on the health and well-being. However, it falls short of recognizing the age at menarche, a vital milestone in women's health. Here, I would like to share one of the experiences during my own PhD fieldwork, when I realized that after attaining menarche or reaching the age of menarche, girls are informed that now they are ready to get married. Now, it literally impacts the well-being of adolescent girls, specifically at their menstrual cycle. Now, focusing on the next goal, that is goal 5, the goal aims to achieve gender equality and empower women and girls. Surprisingly, the term menstruation is not explicitly mentioned in the Sustainable Development Goals, or we can say directly mentioned in the goals. So the menstruation has profound impact on the gender equality. For instance, in many of the communities, especially in Indian communities, as well as we can say in European countries as well, the menarche is seen as the sign of maturity, occasionally resulting in forced marriage. Now, this demonstrates that relationship between menstruation and gender inequality and inequity impacts a lot. Now, the last but not the least, the goal number 6, clean water and sanitation, which directly impacts the menstrual hygiene management for the community of menstruating people. I would like to mention the example or the recommendation given by Joint Monitoring Program, that they included that it is important to teach teachers, the professionals, to give proper information to girls Second thing, recognizing the menstrual hygiene as a complex component of sanitation and hygiene is a crucial for meeting the needs and upholding the rights and menstruating individuals. For the conclusion, I would like to mention that addressing menstrual hygiene needs is not just about ensuring women and girls having access to sanitary products. It is also about overall well-being, educating them, gender equality, and most importantly, the human dignity, fundamental rights, and for getting recognition and respect for their basic rights. And here I would like to give the last chance to my supervisor, my guide, to conclude the part.
Thank you, Kapita ma'am. Thank you. I just want to say one more line. Oncology has proved in the recent year that UTIs are leading to cancerous developments in the body because the foreign bodies they enter, and specifically girls are menstruating before the age of 12. This is resulting into breast cancer also. So it is very important that people are sensitized, and the family as a social institution play a very prominent role in guiding the girls about that. And secondly, what I think is corporate social responsibility can be largely guided by institutions like committee and our institutions, so that the philanthropist or the CSR based industries, they're able to contribute in educating the girls, educating the families, and making them sensitive about how to make them aware about the coming menarche and menstruation. Finally, one drop, then other drop, and the drops together make the ocean ready. That is how we can work on small units like family, and we can finally attain sustainable development goals. Thank you so much, everyone. Lots of regards and respect for all. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Jasleen and Ms. Kavita.
Thank you.
Before we start, I would like to know if there are any participants who haven't given their presentations in the online mode. I repeat, are there any participants who haven't given their presentations yet in the online mode? All right. So with this, we come to an end to our presentations. I would like to open the floor for any questions directed towards the presenters. Please maintain silence. Are there any questions? All right. So I would like to request Dr. Binoy Jyoti Das to give her concluding remarks. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, moderator. We listened, I think, more than 6 presentation here. And I thank you, the listeners here who are patiently listening this session. And I would like to invite question, observation, anything, because they have listened it and what they felt about this whole session. Is there, or why we are talking about sustainable development, what's going on, is this making any sense who are sitting here? Because that's the purpose of this whole technical session, to enlighten young minds. And if it's not making any sense, then the whole task become fruitless. So I really would like to engage the listeners, if they can say anything, any of the paper, or any questions in their mind, or just like whatever. If no one says anything, I would like to conclude the things. Or but I think before that, I would like to request Professor Roop Singh sir, just throw some observation, or if you could interact with the students, like so that, please take this.
Hello. This session was very good, having good papers. You can see the range from climate change, then to hygiene, that is to personal hygiene. And even this from agriculture, some paper was, I think, on seed agriculture. So you can have so many observation you should have, but you are hesitant, I think, or you are not asking question in class also. You must see, all these papers are related to sustainable development and how a development can be sustained. And you were having one paper on sustainable consumption. But before sustainable consumption, we have to think about the sustainable production. And for sustainable production, we have the water sources to be sustained and maintained for the further generation. And for maintaining and sustaining water resources, you have to take care of forest, which we are not. And all these are related to our greed and our over ambitious smartness, challenging the nature. And that's why you are having so many havoc in form of floods, landslides. You can see Uttarakhand, you can see Sikkim, any area, even our smart city, Chandigarh. In name of smartness or in name of development, we are compromising nature, and nature always rebel karegi. So what we have to do, we have to think that this earth has limited, all limited. Over exploitation of anything will not save anything for future generation. If you want to save anything for future generation, that is not duty of government. That is duty of every human being who is residing on this planet. That is basically our duty. Then only the life on this earth will sustain. And for that, I think we have to come forward and we have to start from our own house. बच्चे कोलगेट करते हैं सुबह, कैसे करते हैं? पानी चलता रहता है, सिंपल। और पानी के बारे में आप सोचते ही हैं कि वाटर रिसोर्सेज के बारे में, हमारे यहाँ वाटर रिसोर्सेज जो भी क्वालिटी वाटर है वही ऑलरेडी कम है, और फिर भी हम ओवर एक्सप्लॉयटेशन कर रहे हैं, ओवर वेस्ट कर रहे हैं। So we have to think all things about this. And about hygiene was water, sanitation, and hygiene. We have to take care of all these things. Then we can save this Mother Earth. Then we can save life on this earth for future generation. Thank you.
Thank you for putting up this point, sir. It reminds me of two philosophical concepts that we generally teach students. First is Aristotle's golden mean, which talks about how you need to avoid extreme behavior and follow a more neutral path. And the same principle is also given by Buddha in his theory of Pratitya Samutpad, which is Madhyamika Karika, that there has to be a middle path that you have to follow in life, or else our irresponsibility as well as excess exploitation of resources will eventually lead to a very strong presence which actually projects a strong presence, and it's very difficult to live by for the upcoming years. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. First of all, I would like to thanks all the presenter for this session, Sustainable Development Goal, Public and Community Health. Dr. Ketki Divedi, Dr. Prakash Ranjan, we did not have presentation of Dr. Prakash Ranjan Prasad. I would like to thank Dr. Shalini Gupta, I think Dr. Manjula Raghav, Jaslin Kevlani, Dr. Jaslin Kevlani, and Ms. Kavita Sharan, Dr. Swati Bijawat, Dr. Suraj Das, Dr. Reva Singh. All the presentations are extremely enlightening and mind-boggling, and it ranges topic from micro to macro level, and this kind of why we as a social scientist, why we need all these things, because social scientists are responsible to build a sustainable society or like remodeling society. We can say this project as social engineering, the way new engineering technology developed our communication technology, our transportation, everything. But these all will not sustainable if our value system, our day-to-day life, our day-to-day behavior, if not changed accordingly. In sociology, we have a term called cultural lag. That is, material culture come first and the value culture lags behind. If our mindsets don't developed according to the time context, then it would not be sustainable whatever. And generally it is saying that in social science, basically everywhere it is undermines the understanding. But in the morning session, I think Shital ma'am said that whatever as a social whosoever studies social science, they not only become a good researcher or policymaker, but they also become a good human being, and that is more important. And like good human being can regenerate a good society, whatever whatever the things which is not contributing positively. We need to reinvent new models, new thoughts, new value system, which all including in this sustainable goal system, be it poverty, be it equality, be it hygiene, everything that's we can tackle. And as per the Indian perspective is concerned, sustainable development, our prime minister Sri Narendra Modi ji have brought out eightfold transformative agenda, which is based on the sustainable goal. And we are working, and but we as a citizen, every person need to cooperate. Then only this can we can achieve this through this transformative agenda. We can achieve sustainable development goal. And thing is that as India, population wise, India is the first, India number one populous country, and we have we don't generate much greenhouse gases, but our problems mainly comes from demographic demographic aspect, which we had a paper. I think Reva Singh talked about consequences of demographic consequences. And mostly our poverty, our education, everything like interlinked. So here we need to our education system and this understanding. Once like this is the route where we need to work on understanding. And as a sociologist, we are privileged because we have better understanding than others, because we think and how it will lead to cascading effects, good cascade effects, and so these because of these things, we are organizing this kind of conferences, so that young mind can get benefit of it. Otherwise, all our exercise would be totally like wasting time and energy, everyone's. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, the organizer, Amity University, Mr. Shruti, Dr. Shruti ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.